What about Arlet?
Ah,
They
you're
need
right.
crowd control, I
Yeah.
agree, right? So Arlet just makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. So in terms of the top EXP laners, we have Lapu and Arlot
Yeah.
available. So Arlot maybe for Leon, so that Zone gets a Lapu, or who do you think who would take which? Like, which hero should Leon pick more?
Thing is, my biased opinion, I would rather go up against an Arlet than the Lapu Lapu. I think Lapu is much more annoying. So
Ah.
Yeah, I guess laning phase, that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? His power level 4 spike. Oh, there you go. So the Lapu Lapu just get banned out.
Yeah.
So Leon is forced on.
The Arlot.
Arlet.
There must be someone else.
Wait,
Is there someone else that we're missing out here? I mean, Uranus is gone. Sora's gone.
Oh, I mean, Phobius is something that
Right,
we've seen
right.
a
Yeah.
few teams pick up.
against a Lancelot.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very, very,
Very, yeah.
very good call there. So yeah, they will go for that approach. You know, not much crowd control, but it's hella annoying.
Yeah. But it seems like Team Zone did this knowing that the Phobius will most likely go to Leon, because Arlot usually does not have the best matchup against Phobius.
Nope.
In lane and even in the bigger team fights of it all. Unless Zone is preparing a different EXP laner pick here, they might have just lost that lane.
They overthink it, right?
Yeah.
Sure, if they can, if they are willing to sacrifice their EXP lane, they gotta have compensation here in that gold.
The problem is Bankai's heroes are all gone.
Oh, they're all
Save for
completely
the
gone,
Arlet,
except for
right?
the Arlot.
Phobius, Yuzong, Esme.
Right.
Those heroes have been taken away.
There
There you
it
go.
is.
Finally, the glue pops up.
Okay, so it seems like we finally have a bit of a confirmation as to why Glue's been gone. Everyone else is a priority.
Yep.
Glue is like, hey, I'm kind of out of options. Yeah, let's just go ahead and pick up the Glue. That makes sense.
And then we get the Claude into the Eve, and
Yeah.
obviously into the Claude we get the carry.
Yeah. So matchups all good. Hard for me to really decide here who I lean a bit more towards. Do you guys have any preferences already?
I think if we're talking about drafts, I gotta side with Leon here, at least for game one. I think it's more solid, right? More
Yeah.
balanced and more direct.
If we're talking about laning phase as well, I think Leon has an upper edge. We're
Yeah.
talking about mid, we're talking about gold lane.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, if Team Zone can look for opportunities and
Definitely.
moments, they have lots of wombo combos going on for them, and it could work.
Okay, but it seems like, with that being said, the lineup of Zone might be just a little bit more difficult to pull off compared to the lineup of Leon. And historically, the simpler
5 seconds
lineup
till the
wins.
enemy reaches
Welcome
the
once again
battlefield.
to the
Smash
third day
them.
of the wildcards. It's
All
Zone
troops
versus
deployed.
Leon in a Group A where nothing is decided just
Welcome
yet.
to Mobile
Everything is still
Legends.
up on the table, and as we get into the game, we are getting a little bit of more of a feel as to what these players are thinking. We have two Purifies from the side of Leon here, understanding of the potential wombo combos that could happen. But yes, I agree with your sentiment earlier, Renmar. I do think that the composition is a lot less difficult, I would say, for Leon Esports, but already a quick flicker in the early stages.
Yeah, I think that's a good example of what we mean by Leon's lineup is a little bit simpler to pull off. They already forced out the flicker from
Yeah.
Bright.
That's important as well. Both roamers, rather, right? Popping their flickers early here, but everything is stable. Take a look at Lancelot here. Very cheeky rotation.
And if we're looking at emblems here, a breakdown into the gold lane, it looks like both players are prioritizing. Oh, wait a second, Kenny's got a little, he's fine for now. But back to that, a little bit more emphasis on that 1v1 control.
Yeah.
It's very unique because we have seen different emblem sets for the gold laners.
Oh my goodness, Agi does not have time to pop the Purify. Heck, the damage will come through either way, and that will be first blood for Zone.
Yeah, I did not expect that to actually happen. I thought he'd still find a way to get away, but I think Aki just did not want to commit that Purify anymore.
Yep. Getting to that level 4 quite soon. You can see the rotations happening. But I don't know. I feel like yesterday's Claude, when he went in for the fighter emblems, that sustain that he was able to have, and the fact that he was able to sustain in early game team fights gave them a lot of more activation in the early game. Why do you
Yeah.
think that they prioritize for like the classic emblem set instead of that?
It is interesting. You guys were able to point out, wait.
Oh, Law and Order committed. That's going to be Bright here. Oh, stunned up. That's going to be Water picking up the kill. That's Leon Esports equalizing on the board.
A lot of unexpected aggressive trades in the mid. A little bit too over-aggressive, which means Leon now has control in Turtle.
This is what we were expecting though, right? With the mid-prio for Leon Esports, they're going to be able to settle and set up for the Turtle a lot quicker than Team Zone. But the one thing that was really surprising was Team Zone getting that kill in the first few minutes of the game. So a little bit of a mistake perhaps by Leon, but not so much that they don't have a ground in the early game.
There was something that you pointed out yesterday in the quad game as well, that it was a bit more active in the map.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to see that again, because it seems like that's the strategy that works out for Claude here in the wild cards. Is even if you're only just 2 items in, you have to be going out already. Agi!
Again?
Abusing the spell, providing the damage there. Team Zone now looks to recover after that first neutral objective loss.
Unfortunate. And those 2 deaths were given to Zasora as well as Kenny, the 2 cores, the 2 players that you really don't want those resources on. And unfortunately, that early lead at Leon Esports, they've given it over back to Team Zone.
Perfectly timed on the flicker there. Bankai under the turret will take death there. Leon Esports, man, both teams are trading punches.
Yeah, going a little bit faster than I expected to, which, I mean, the betterment for all of us makes for more entertaining to watch and to cast. So, in terms of the items, still, Dreadnought armor already for the glue. No full build just yet on the side of Leon in terms of full items. 2 key components already, but this is a bad start for the EXP lane of Zone with significant progress already made in the shield.
What do you think about the matchup, the Glue and the Phobius?
Well, so far, for Bankai, because of that one error that he did, I think he was a little bit too overzealous there. He burned out the flicker, but he gave a kill, and it led to that. So far, Juviana's been wrecking him.
Oh, Bankai has the flicker. Will try to survive this gank, and he will for now. 10 seconds on the clock, though, for the second neutral objective. Law and order on towards Kenny. Has the order of brilliance, but here comes the reinforcements. Real word manipulation. Jinzu hops to revitalize in time, but Zexara will take that kill. Now Zexara into no man's land will be taken down. That is not worth it for Team Zone.
Did not expect this start, right? Zasora feels like he's always very on point, and I guess Leon Esports are doing a really good job at trying to punish him in his movements, but that's 2 turtles already given over. Team Zone seems like they still want to go for that head-to-head kind of strategy, not looking for anything else on the map, and considering their composition didn't really favor them to begin with in the early game, I'm wondering what their plan is now that they've lost both early neutral objectives.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a win elsewhere. Brilliance already popped in the mid just to escape. Juviana still continuing his trend of dominating performances in lane. This has been a point of a pain point for Team Zone. Bankai's EXP laning, like individual EXP laning, has been very shaky. And yet again, it's showing up in this game.
The laning phase. Mirko's like, laning phase.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we're seeing it come through right now. Team Zone, what's the plan? Do you want to play to the gold lane now that it seems like the EXP is not something that they can really hold on to?
Yeah, I think they should. It seems like the early kill that Bright had, the fact that his flicker got forced out in the first minion wave, hurt a lot of their chances in the first 2 minutes. So, yeah, if I'm Team Zone, just look at K and said, please carry us. I'm never doing that again. I'm so sorry. I'm not. That was good.
That was good. Peep Lamage, though, no purified top. An attempt, but now Bankai isolated here somehow. And seems like Bankai will not be able to escape. That's going to be a kill over to Leon. That's going to be the real word population alongside the Glorious Pathway Foul. Bright, all alone, taken down as well as Leon will fight still with 5 members on the board. As Team Zone outplayed again.
Yeah, 2-4-0 trade, 1,000 goldie now for Leon in the first 7 minutes of the game. This should be effectively translated over to the next neutral objective. Zasora should be fine. I think one of the good things I would say that we can argue for Team Zone is the fact that Zasora is still leveling with water, right? They're both at level 10. We've seen Zasora look for a lot of, objective steals. Is that something that they want to do now?
3 turtles in hand for the side of water. Kenny has 1 target in mind, and he will get it. That's going to be Leon, though, looking for the recovery. Take a look at that. Agi will take a lot of damage from K as 2 members off the board for Leon now. Aggie survived this. Juviana is on it. That's going to be a 2-for-1. Juviana all alone, and Team Zone will lose the turtle, but they will take the fight.
Hey, that looked really good there for Team Zone. They knew that the real-world manipulation of Agi just was not up yet, and they decided to fight into it. Great rotation by K. Perfect blazing duet taking Agi out, who was just desperately waiting for the RWM to come back, did not get it. And as expected, the trend continues. It's Claude being active with just 2 items, going around and joining the fights.
And we've seen this a lot, right? Corrosion Sight and then the DHS, or the Golden Staff and then the DHS. I think it really allows the Claude to come online a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Very interestingly enough, so not too stuck with the trio, the Swift Trinity build is what I'm trying to say. So we saw that damage again in K. It's the double K combo from Team Zone.
Yeah,
Just abusing the Purifier, right?
Yeah.
Once you dive, Agi practically has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And Team Zone, they realize that and just capitalizes so far. Sure, they're still behind though, gold-wise.
I mean, there could be a discussion later on about if should... Oh, whoa, 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 Juviana!
Oh, that's a dive. That's going to be the knock-up as well. Take a look at Juvie. Benkai, though, in the front lines, right, taking some EK, waiting for the right timing. Blazing duet finds the mark. That's going to be a killing spree, looking for the double. He will find the double as Team Zone. They look shaky in the early, but mid-game, they are different.
I really was about to say that Leon Esports were trading really well, right? Despite the loss of the tower on the bottom side, they were able to take that turret up top. But what was Juviana thinking? Did he think that he could flicker out in time?
Yeah.
All in all, it resulted in K now holding 4 kills.
Felt like that was just a really unfortunate timing that his shoulder tackle, the animation locked in when the Phantom Execution was already there. It's like, oh no, dude, you're gonna get caught in no man's land. I don't think that was the intention of Juviana. It was just incredibly unfortunate, and Team Zone pounced.
Okay. Things are, heating up quite a bit, but also leveling out. Leon Esports' early lead shrunk again. Team Zone now holds a little bit of that. If we're taking a look into a recap of certain items, we do see now that Kenny has the Divine Glaive, so expect a little bit more damage coming out from that as we take a look into the replay.
Yeah, so it looked like that was post-shoulder tackle. Banka and K were ready. You see, K was really waiting for it. He stood there, then he BM bind in, and then he used the Blazing Duet. So great patience.
Oh, 2-man stunt there with the Mount Shocker, but nothing comes out of it as Team Zone, they got the Lord.
Did they overcommit trying to defend that tower in mid? They used the real-world manipulation, but the Lord is coming here.
I think so. We didn't get to take a look at that earlier on, but the Lord should be melted. I saw Lamage pick up that DHS earlier on, and I'm wondering whether or not my favorite item would be built.
What's your favorite item?
Chastise Pauldron.
Ooh, chastise.
Nice.
Sure. Okay. I mean, I don't see it a lot, but I think the value will be big time.
There you go.
Ah, there. See,
Called it.
just called for it.
Law and Order, stun, Brian. I don't think Brian can get out from that. So that's a free kill for Leon. But Team Zone, they know that nothing really comes out of it, right? They're still in control. Map control is still theirs, but you can't do that too often.
Wonder, did he really just get caught? Did he overstay? And at the end of the day, the result is he got taken down. And hey, look, another Pauldron this time by Jinzu. So just when you called for it, everyone starts building up the Pauldrons. Right in time for the carries, as both K and Lamage have already locked into their trinities. Why do we not call it Trinity? I don't know. And they're on their way to their 4th item.
Three what?
Trinity.
Trinity. I like that.
This is why I love working with Eternal. She laughs at my jokes the most.
Wow.
I can laugh too.
Wait, I'm never gonna forget that phrase that you just brought up, man. That's gonna be burned in my memory for both good and bad.
But let's talk about win
You're
cons,
welcome.
right? Because if Team Zone really want to close this, they don't have as much range to work with as compared to Leon. Wait a second.
Oh, that's going to be a Tsunami Slam. Jinzu takes a lot of heat. And that's going to be Lamage finding the outplay. He will, too, be taken down, though. Take a look at the back. That's going to be Bunkai taken down. Lunox doing work with the Trinity. But it seems like the damage will not be enough as Leon Esports. They will re-engage. will be taken down as well. But that's a triple from Water. 4 bodies of Team Zone are down.
4-for-2 trade, and you'd think that Team Zone, they were the ones to kind of look for something with Bright as well, being able to pick it up, but what was that, Renmar? Why do you think that Team Zone lost that? Lack of damage output?
Yeah, because K went down way too quick up against Lamage. I can't recall if Lamage also went down in that fight, but that little duel between the Claude and the carry. K looked so confident with the Blazing Duet, but once the ultimate was popped, both of them just fell down too quick. It seems like without the Claude, they lose a significant amount of their damage, even though Lance, and to be fair, the Lunox does a lot, they really need that Claude alive.
Because I think Kenny was there for just a bit, but he also got taken down like mid-fight.
Yeah.
So then they lost everything. And considering Leon Esports also, Lamage went down after the Cloud went down, but I guess they still have Water, who, as you can see, the items are really building up, right? I think next item would be BOD at this point after the Malefic Roar.
Could mean then slightly better positioning from the main damage dealers of Zone is required as Leon marches in with the Lord. 13 minutes into the game, Leon looks to pounce.
Yeah, they know Lancelot is stopped. That's why they want to force a fight here.
Agi!
Uh-oh, Agi. That's the sun. Right. Flickers the wrong way. That's going to be the Tsunami Slam coming through, but no damage though. Right still survives. Take a look at the top lane. Kenny taken down by Lamage. But the top lane will fall for Leon, and that will be Leon losing an inhibitor, but they will take the bottom side.
Wait, Leon, there's a lot of members here, but I don't think they have enough minion waves to go for the full end just yet.
Now they have the defense there, Blazing Duet just to clear, but Jinzu takes a lot of damage there. Will survive for now. 90 seconds still on the clock for the next Lord, but both teams here losing an inhibitor.
That was like the experience of Zerxora Eternal. The fact that he read the situation and said, you know, you guys are going to be fine. What do you mean we're going to lose? No, I'm going to take their inhibitor. I'm going to back off. Everything is going to be chill. Still, Team Zone cannot completely chill just yet, but that increased their chances. Zone has 7 towers broken to Leon 6.
But remember, luckily for Team Zone as well, because of that movement from Zexora, despite them losing their inhibitor turret as well, unfortunately for Leon, it's on the opposite side of the next Lord. So it is something that they can utilize to their advantage. They have Zexora to, you know, push in that far lane. They also have K in certain situations to, if they want to risk it, they can also utilize him to clear out that far lane and utilize that and put Leon Esports' late game to the test. Like, how good are you at these Lord dances?
Ooh, Bankai with the blade armor now, though. I think he's really just going to be looking to put himself in front of Lamage to stop him. And we've seen this enough globally that even that item on a glue up against a carry is enough to ruin the team fighting that Leon has. But again, it looks like they're good with their YSS. Oh, Jinju's going for it?
Yeah, no BMI here. K will slide off to safety. Bankai though, that's going to be Tsunami Slam on towards one. Leon from an angle finds 2 men. Sabatini in the back alongside Bankai finds 2 members. Leon Esports now will look for the collapse, but Jinzu will not be able to hold on. Lamage all alone as K and Zexora finds a wipeout for Team Zone.
And that is gonna be it. They have the minion waves healthy. You put a highlight on them. Double K delivering the Game 1 W here for Team Zone, just like that.
Beautiful. Wow, okay. Even when we were talking about the issues or like the challenges, not the issues, but the challenges with the drafts from Team Zone, it all led up to one moment and a split-second moment of decision-making as well, where Team Zone with Zexora, so those are the 3 heroes and the 3 players that we were talking about even before the game, right?
Yep.
Zexora and the double K combo, they really, you know, they really, oh, what's wrong with him?
They embody the carry mentality. Leon, of course, I think it was really important for them to get that win. We're going to have to revisit the results. Maybe that's going to help us recontextualize the emotions right now on the side of...
Did they have to win 2-0?
Like sweep? Let me double check.
I mean, I understand, right? That was so close. Everything went according to plan for Leon. We're looking at the highlights and the replays coming through as well. In terms of draft, you can see that they had a lot of early game control, neutral objective control as well. as we got later into the game, it felt like the members of Team Zone were also unable to stave off that damage coming out from the carry, but it all just led up to that one moment. Unfortunately, the real world, manipulation. Sorry, I'm getting really excited.
It's okay,
The
I get
real world manipulation was positioned in a really awkward way, so
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
couldn't fully utilize the damage
Capitalize.
out from it. It feels bad.
Yeah. Okay, so to confirm, Leon does not need to win with a sweep. There are two scenarios wherein if they win this 2-1, there is still a chance depending on the Zeta result
Right.
against get to meet a lot of more of their players in the community in the internationals is that they are actually insanely passionate about it. That if there's one region that I could actually link it to, if I'm not mistaken, it's Cambodia. Of course, we haven't seen Cambodia actually translate a lot of the results internationally, but you cannot talk any flag about their community, about their lack of passion, because they are all passionate about MLBB in Cambodia, and the Mongolians seem to be in that same regard as well. So it's good to see the progress Mongolia has made as a region since their debut in the M5 wildcard that we had in Malaysia when we had that tournament. So
And also not just the men's scene, right? Do you remember the female scene? The women's?
yes, oh, I have to.
The Mongolian female team?
I have
You
to-
were like you were so crazy about them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay,
Right?
now I remember. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
they're like so good as well. So
Yeah.
like the entire community landscape for not just the male scene, but also the female counterpart.
Yeah, again, it just adds a little bit more to the point that they just love MLBB.
Hearing
Yep.
you guys, it made me want to move to Mongolia
You
and be a part of that community.
so MPL Mongolia English cast
Or
or a player.
a player, or I can learn
Regular. Coach Gani.
their
Ooh.
language. I can learn their language.
Ooh, okay, all right. Maybe we should get Gani to learn some Mongolian from our Mongolian representatives. We are in the draft already. Standard bans, they don't want to give the YSS over to zone on the first two picks red alongside the Yuzhong. The Uranus gets banned out, happening a lot more often actually in this wild card. Seems to be something about that pick that no one wants to deal with it. Juice and Gon, are they both just going to be fighting for the Kalea this time?
There's a lot of picks open though.
Yeah, Yves is still open if they want to go for that approach again.
I think that's too early though.
early.
I don't know. That's my opinion. Fanny is open. I don't know if
Oh.
people want to first pick it,
You're right.
but
Kalea.
Kalea, I think it's much safer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Stable.
I wonder, are zone braided enough? Okay, no one wants to pick up the Fanny. Unless maybe Leon pick it up. There we go! They first picked the Kalea to set up the Fanny for themselves, knowing that Zone can no longer pick it up with the Kalea on the side of Leon.
I'm gonna be a party pooper
Uh-huh.
and be like, this is such an early Fanny pick. I think the Fanny is so great and was so great in previous patches is because she has control over the side lanes, right?
Yes.
Mostly onto the gold lane, but we're in a world now here in Mobile Legends where the side lanes are usually fighters.
Yeah, this definitely can take the took a wrong turn here for Zona. And Ruby is still on the board as well. And they can lock it in here, but Leon seems like they are confident, to go for that approach. But Zone, they're just taking Leon's heroes, technically, but they had themselves the Lancelot.
Okay, so with this whole Fanny discussion, we are definitely in a world right now where Fanny, if you really want to pick her and make her comfortable, you pick her in the second phase.
Yeah.
Still very pickable in the first phase, but it has, again, as you mentioned, changed. One way that Zone could play this is if they pick up the Kimmy in mid. Oh wait, no, they already have an Eve.
Yeah.
Can they still go fighter? I don't think they'll have the damage if they go fighter here.
Oh, that's why I was about to say if they don't go fighter, then there's still a Moskov, but the Moskov gets banned. So
One of the
there
best.
you go.
One of the best answers for the Fanny in the gold lane.
It's Brody.
Yo. Huh? Wait a minute. Oh, they still respect the Ruby.
Yeah.
Oh, is it bro? Do you think this Brodyable? I mean,
Maybe a last pick, right?
The last pick,
Maybe
yeah.
a last pick.
I'm starting to see it.
Lapu Lapu.
Oh, whoa!
Fine. They will lock in a marksman here first, so
They're still willing to play the God. What are they gonna be putting the EXP to? They need a little bit more pin down for this Fanny, unless they're gonna go they can't go Hilda. There's already an Esme on the other side.
The euphony of suffering.
Oh, are they playing for early? Looking for Snowball?
I have a feeling we might be going to a game over
Yeah.
3.
I mean,
Is this
Lamage,
Arlet?
I think Arlet is a possibility.
Oh, Lapu's still available. Level 4, Power Spike, if they want to play early.
For zone,
First-
yeah.
Yeah, laning phase will go up against Esmeralda, though.
Yeah,
So,
that's the tough thing. Never just go Arlot there. What's zone trying to plan to answer this Fanny?
this might be a reach, but Cho is still on the board. But Arlet, there you go.
I am the
Right?
constant that breaks
Arlot.
the tide.
Okay, I am leaning a bit more towards Leon here. Actually, no, I'm significantly leaning more towards Leon for this one.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the Fanny.
All depends on the early game. You know, I think they get the early game, you know, get the snowball.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's a game for Leon. But if they fail to do so, you might see it
Yeah.
2-0, right?
Because I feel like now, even for Granger, it's really hard to compete in the later stage of the game if you can't build that snowball.
Mm-hmm.
Get that Skypiercer stacks going.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. You have two pieces of your team that would want to be able to get kills.
Yeah.
And they're going to be competing each other at that. A lot to consider and a lot to look at here. Usually when there's a lot of questions up in the air about how questionable lineups are going to be executed, you look at the center of the map. You look at the roamers and the mids and see how well they can fare. Let's look closely first at Agi and Jinzu against Kenny and Bright.
But either or, right? We're looking at the Fanny debut here in the Wild Card.
Let's go!
Woo! Let's see if it works out, all right? I mean, if we're talking about emblem choices, still the same, I believe. Nothing out of the ordinary. We'll get a little look into like the sub-emblems later on. I'm curious about K this time around against the Granger. Are they going to opt for something different this time around? But there's water already in the mid lane.
Oh.
Early flicker there already. But yeah, game 1 we got Glue and game 2 we got Fanny. Both heroes debuting in the M5, M7 rather, wildcard stage.
Bit of time travel there for you, huh? No, I get it. Because I mentioned M5 earlier. I still think about M5 a lot. That was a great time to be a Filipino. Actually, every year is a great time to be a Filipino. I'm not trying to say anything. Hey, emblems.
Let's see about this year.
I got it. They're no mad at me.
I'm stuck on that. We'll see about this year.
You just gave me a death stare. Good thing Gani's in between us.
Honestly, I miss the emblems.
Well, okay, we have a little screen right in front of us to show it. It seems like pretty much all Riders reign.
Uh-oh, on the bottom side, that's going to be
Whoa!
a quick hit and a run. Water picking up first blood here on a debuting Fanny.
So this feels like a recurring theme for Leon, right? They have a good hold into the early game.
Mhm.
It's looking great for them. They have a little bit of a gold lead as well. They should be able to translate it to the mid lane very soon. Luckily, Jinzu's not level 4, so Team Zone still a lot safer at this point. But once that level 4 hits, this is the answer.
Sixora looking for the steal, finds it. First neutral objective on the board for Zone, and they got an extra kill as well. That's a solo top lane by K. Down goes Lamage.
That's just L after L, and incredibly unfortunate. That's just Team Zone playing better all across the map.
Is Glot supposed to win in the lane against Granger early game? Well, I mean, technically level 4, right?
Yeah, you're not supposed to get an easy solo kill just like that. I think Lamage mishandled the minion waves there, putting him in a spot where even though he has the dashes, he couldn't get away from him.
Uh-oh.
Water playing with fire there, but Team Zone wasn't able to get that kill just yet.
I think Team Zone made the right call to try and continue to apply pressure there, but good exit.
Action in the mid lane. Kenny will not be able to escape that one. Cutthroat, and now Bright will fall as well. 2 quick kills from Leon Esports trying to recover that early game.
I believe that was one of like the winning conditions for Leon Esports in the early game, right? They needed to wait for Jinsu to get that level 4. And as soon as that level 4 hit, you could see Leon Esports finally being able to trade back. So despite all the errors in the early game, Leon Esports they're still able to hold their ground here. Hopefully, they can relay a little bit more kills over to Lamage now, because
Yeah.
if we're talking about damage dealers, I'm not too like hot with the Valentina.
Yeah, you're really looking towards your main physical to carry a lot of the load here. Agi's going to be a little bit more utility, considering there are a lot of great ultimates that he can pick up and he can juggle that around. But for Leon, without the Sky Piercer just yet for Lamage, we're not going to be seeing them go for aggressive rotations too much. Water, I just got to say, he's been fast. He's been everywhere in the game so far.
Looking good too, right? 2-0-1 so far. If we're talking about levels, on par as well with Zixora. Let's see if Zixora can take this again.
He stole it, right? First neutral objective. Seems like now the Fanny jumping in, Zixora clutch again. Water in the mid lane, looking to escape, but that's Agi in a no man's land. They're flickering to death. That's another kill on the board for Team Zone. It's 2 kills from that sequence, plus the turtle.
Looked like Bright was waiting for Water to come in, but Water trying to look for a kill up top.
No BMI, that's a Purify. Not able to close the distance more, but that was an attempt.
It sucks to be a fan here because that high loss is the main reason why Wata could not even retry with that last turtle. As you look at the Realme 15 Pro win rate prediction, it's leaning towards Zone.
That was close.
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah.
I was on the edge of my seat, like, holding my breath. Is this going to be a kill? Is this going to be a kill? But it turns out, unfortunately, Water was unable to get it. We were discussing about potential builds for Agi on the Valentina, but Lightning Truncheon first item.
Huh.
So I think he's actually looking for more damage. So we'll
Yeah.
see how that works out for him. Right now, it doesn't seem like Team Zone has been able to punish Agi too much as well. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Okay, here, punished. No Purify, blazing duet forced to be used. That's going to be the BF. Oh, trying to find a cheeky escape, but Lamage is on it. That's a kill, an important one for Leon.
Yeah, they definitely needed that. He's Papa Bear. There we go. Papa Bear Zixora.
Wow. Mid inhibitor going down. Team Zone 9,000 gold. Tsunami Slam under the turret. Bankai will out survive. K deals a lot of damage. Not enough though, but Juviana will fall. Take a look at the main base as Team Zone. They like to finish this series with a 2-0 fashion. And ladies and gentlemen, they will get it.
That is a huge, powerful Mongolian broom in the form of Zixora. I think unanimous. An MVP performance by the main man of Zone. But all across the board, the team stepped up. Everyone delivered in their job. And Leon gets swept.
You can see the faces, the emotions on the faces of Team Zone. They're looking very excited, really happy with that win. But for Leon, almost like disbelief.
Yeah.
Right, that first game was 16 minutes. That second game became 10. 10 minutes and 28 seconds. They made the risk, right? They utilized the Fanny. The Fanny was left open. And they took it. But unfortunately, the Fanny, it really just didn't work out.
It almost felt like Team Zone was baiting Leon to take the Fanny.
Yeah.
They took the bait. Couldn't apply. This was the crazy play.
Yeah, what's crazy is it's also just Zone telling the world, we don't care about the Fanny. We have Hylos. That's all we need. Usually you'd see more teams need more lockdown crowd control to stop a Fanny. Well, it was literally Bright just poking him down every time he saw him. And he made it look so easy. And Water, to his credit, he always just kept finding the target, but the trade-off was him getting stunned and him going down.
Yeah.
Because I was hella overthinking. I was like, you need a fighter or even like a Moskov
Yeah,
or
same.
whatever, you know?
To be
Put
fair, they backed
Brody
it
in the
up.
gold lane.
Yeah.
To be fair, they banned
Yeah,
the
but I
box
mean,
up
at the end, it
really
turns out they didn't even need it.
Yeah, it was just, it was just high loss. That is nuts. That just goes to show how much better that they've improved in terms of their individual decision making and execution. Because of that result, effectively, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 scenarios have been wiped And we're
Sequel.
down to the last 4 scenarios because the last scenarios 4 to 9 were if Leon beat Zone.
Okay.
So now we're down to no, we're down to 3 scenarios
Tres.
wherein it could be. It's looking like Zone already locked in. They're good.
Yeah. 3
Now we're just
record,
looking at Boostgate and Zeta.
which we will see later on.
Yes. So the final decider match for Group A is Boostgate versus Zeta. And the result that Zeta is looking for now, there's one scenario here where if Zone gets a sweep Leon, Zeta, they can afford a 2-1 also.
Zeta?
I don't know, they can't.
No, they gotta win 2-0, I believe.
Yeah. Zeta needs to sweep Boostgate now
Yeah.
if they want to advance.
So that's our third match of the day, right?
Yes.
Yes. Our third match of the day. And just like that,
Fun.
because of that one sweep result, a lot of the scenarios and a lot of the math that we could potentially do has just been wiped out. And ZX Aura, 100% for sure the MVP here. He's going to be part of the highlight package. Terrific Lancelot game. If he does get to advance into Swiss, I can't wait to see him go up against the best of the best.
Bro, look at that GPM.
938
Exactly.
in 10 minutes, 10 and a half minutes.
938. That's so wild. This kid, man, I wonder how old he is now. I
Yeah,
think like 17.
he was still very young when he did start. Yeah,
Right?
like I think around 16, 17. It's been 2 years now. He should be closer to around
18,
20.
18.
20.
Maybe 19.
What if we completely mess up his age and he's actually like 32 or something?
Yeah.
He's really good. He's actually not a kid anymore. But
We'll fact check.
yeah, we'll have to fact check that later on. But yeah, definitely ZXR. This is his show.
Second game, it was, I mean, in the first game, it was pretty tight, back and forth, but in the second, wow, different story, right? And to top it off, Cave displayed another splendid Claude performance.
Yeah. I think this is looking to be like his main comfort now, if
Right
that's the
now,
case. Those are two. I would say it wasn't like the cleanest game. It wasn't like his MVP game, but this was still a very dependable
Solid,
Claude.
yeah.
Yeah, super solid.
But also, as we're taking a look into like the highlights and the replays of what happened in that game number 2, fortunately for him as well, all the CC resources were like expended already by the time he got into these team fights, right? Because usually when the team fights happen, you would see Jinzu go in onto someone else. And then so they really didn't have a stopper to match Zixora and his mobility into the backline.
Yep.
Like in this particular case.
Just great timing and layering of abilities for Zone. And I think that's one of the key things we can look at with K when it comes to his Claude performance in this entire series is patience. I mean, a lot of the times in game number 1, we even got to see him just stand there and really just wait. He would stand there and wait. And then he'd pull the trigger and then he'd go in. So very patient Claude performance.
Amazing.
I think he was besties with Bright in the second game.
Oh yeah,
was?
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because every time the Kalea would go in or Bright makes a move, he'd instantly blazing to win.
Yeah, it's
He does the
synergy.
initial damage and then Zixora comes in as finisher.
yeah. One of the biggest strengths of the Zone then is their layering.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
timing together as a team. We know ZXR later on. For RLG, it's either going to be a Kitty or Farsa if they want to lock in their mid laner early. But they're not gonna because they're still holding out on the potential of maybe a Valentina being a good option for them if they want to. But at least they're going for strong picks in the Lancelot and Arlot. Both picks that, if you decide to pick early, you really can't go that wrong with.
Sensible, right?
It's very sensible, yes.
Sensible approach, you've got crowd control, to fight first turtle, it's also very strong with Arlet and the Lancelot pick. So now with X-Mena, great response here. I like the Phobius pickup here. And I'm looking at the gold, jungler.
Yeah.
It's going to be the classic assassin versus assassin here for our opening game in this match.
Because the only 3 heroes that Throwboy has actually utilized in the wildcards is YSS, High, and Lancelot. Considering YSS has been banned, Lancelot has been taken away.
Yeah.
Sure thing, Throwboy is going to fall back to a comfort pick in the Hayabusa. The Phobius gets picked up instantly because of the Arlet, because of the laning phase that we know of the Phobius. And they were also trying to deny the Arlot and the Jushin combo, I think, right? That's why they went in very early with the Arlet. The big question is how are they going to try and level it out in terms of the laning phase? Because Kimmy is strong, but it can be tricky against the Jushin.
Yeah. This is where you're going to see the importance of what roamer ends up here with RLG if they want to play for priority in the center, which makes sense that Axe is taking away the Kalea. It might also make a lot of sense for them to take away the God Kacha. But the thing is, if the God Kacha or the High Loss gets taken out by Axe, that means there's not going to be a lot of roamers that can help match the healing that you need to put in your roamer. Unless Axe will take a page out of Guangzhou Gaming's book and pick up a Hilton. Not Hilton.
There you go.
Hilton gets banned. I meant to say Minotaur.
Oh.
I just want to see a Minotaur in this game. It's the short version of all the things I wanted to say.
That's a very, very, cheeky pick, right? Very complete. With the Moskov, though, it adds more pressure in the far lanes for X-Men at least.
It's also shutting down my boy Speedy.
Uh-oh.
He's your boy now?
My boy Speedy, right?
Okay.
Claude carry banned out. Moskov picked up.
Yeah.
These are one of the 3 heroes that he's actually picked up here
Utilize,
in the wild cards. We're looking at Esme and Granger as they don't go for that. Wait a second.
A Farsa
Farsa
Gold?
and a Jushin?
Farsa Gold, I believe?
The heck is going on? Yeah, that's a Farsa Gold. Mid lane Juicin.
Mid lane Jushin, Farsa Gold.
And,
Too heavy crowd controls, too heavy setter for RLG.
bro, we all
Really good
felt
clear.
that. We all felt that.
Uh-oh.
The moment that Grog gets locked in right now. Okay. Axe. I will reserve my reaction. Except for this one. What is going on?
Coach Jed.
Let's see, because right now RLG, I gotta say, I'm liking their stability just a little bit more here.
If we're talking about the drafts, I have to agree, but execution has been very shaky here the past 2 days from the side of RLG.
Quanok's Farsa. Speedy's Jushin.
Oh, so it's Jushin Gold.
Wow. Do we have any precedents for this? Was it seen in Indonesia?
No.
Indonesia, no.
So,
I don't think it was in Malaysia. Okay, day 3 and wildcard surprises are still getting dished out. Hey, in the row for RLG. Axe is playing a gold lane Juicin. I'm excited to see this.
Mobile Legends.
How is this going to work? I thought initially if Quanok was on the Jushin and Speedy was on the Farsa, maybe you could make an argument because of like the differences in range. I guess if Moskov still has like that dash to kind of close that gap, but some action here in the mid lane.
2v2 here in Rice Cream pop the flicker early just to add more health bars. But top lane Ducky not looking too hot here. Quanok with wings by wings will look to get that kill. And Quanok will take first blood, no problem.
That was just absolutely mismanaged there by Ducky in the EXP lane. No other way to put it.
Rice Cream now again just tanking. 3 members might be too much, but it seems like RLG will back away for now.
Yeah. Still looking at the gold lane, Jushin. It looks like Daylight's getting punished quite a bit, but still level 2, not that at that level for Spike as well for the Moskov. I think there should be more outplay potential as soon as we get to that point. In terms of emblem choices as well, we have Mystery Shop, so technically, yeah, gold lane, Mystery Shop, you want to get your items a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just to stay in the lane and wait for rotations. I still can't wrap my head around why the Jushin gets placed in gold.
I'm trying to recall, I believe it was somewhere around, oh wait, in the mid?
Redonk is able to get that, get back to safety, but 10 seconds here for that first neutral objective.
That's my favorite reading of Radon K's name now.
Redonk.
Radonk.
It's redonkulous.
Exactly, Rice Cream now. Trying to hold on, has her revitalized, but in an awkward position, pops it. Feather airstrike alongside Throwboy in the back, finds a kill. Uh-oh, it's a 1v1 between Lancelot and the Hayabusa, but that will be falling as well.
Yeah, not the best of setups for Radiance Legend Gaming. They still want to go for the contest on the neutral objective. And it's a little bit of a pity because they did bring the Lancelot. Speedy doing a really good job of zoning HHN there. And they're going to allow Axmena to pick up that neutral objective early. Things seem to be going according to plan so far.
Yeah, for Axmena, for RLG, I thought they'd be able to utilize his Grog more.
Federation caught. That's a stun on towards Hey. Oh, big knocked up there. No real damage. And coming in. Stun! That's gonna be Hey falling. A 2-4-0 if you count the neutral objective. Yeah, 3 minutes and 2K. Not too good here for RLG.
Yeah, math checks out. Axeman at this point, seems like they're just toying with Radiance Legend Gaming.
Yeah.
Even Daylight is insanely struggling up against that Juice. Okay, you know what? I might have overblown it a little bit. It's just a 300 gold lead. I thought it was worse. But majority of the time, I've seen Daylight just hugging tower.
Man, oh man.
Axemena now. They're making it work.
Yeah, I mean, the focus is definitely in the mid lane. Redonk now trying to hold on, but he will not be able to escape. But another kill on the board. Quanok trying to juke. And
Whoa!
looking for the kill and will find it eventually, but that's going to be the collapse from Axemena. Looking for bodies. Throwboy jumping in. Ducky in a no man's land as Throwboy picks up a killing spree.
I thought that was a big set that potentially Hehe could have found, but unfortunately, Axemena turned that completely around. Now they're going in for the invade onto RLG, denying it all. I guess we're waiting for power spikes to hit. Was that a steal?
Was that a steal? We're going to see. Trying to look for the purple buff under the feet. Throwboy has one under him.
No.
HHN does not.
Oh, that's going to be them still applying more pressure in the jungles, though. As RLG, they're just behind in farm, behind in map control. I don't know what they can do.
I don't know.
So far.
The longer this game goes, it should favor RLG, right? You have the Moskov, you have the Kimmy as well.
Yeah.
The damage is going to ramp up, and unfortunately, because Speedy is on the Jushin, wait a second.
Alpha trying to apply pressure in the top. Ducky falling. Yeah, Ducky falls the third time in the first 5 minutes. Redonk now trying to hold on, but Throwboy's damage is overwhelming. Another kill on the board. Now they go for more here as the Lancelot will get back to safety. Surely no real lockdown, but still Axemena just all over the place.
Yeah. It really looks like Axe just knows that they're the better quality team right now.
Yeah.
At this point, they're just dominating. Really.
Tectonic charge towards the back. That's gonna be Hey. Taken down again. At 3K. Take a look at Lancelot though, trying to salvage something in the jungles, but I don't think that's enough.
There's also a Sky Piercer now on the Jushin, on Speedy. Already one stack. Looking for a little bit more here. Can they get Radan?
Radan will be able to get away. I just recall that early on in MPL or mid MPL Philippines Season 16, the idea of a Juicing Gold was floated around behind the scenes.
Oh.
But we never really got to see it in practice, more in theory, considering that that was the time a lot of the fighters were popping up. So people were thinking, hey, what about we try Juicing this thing? I just never really got to see it, but now here it is. Up against a marksman gold lane.
It's working so far, right? We'll see whether or not they get to get more stacks on it, and if it does, that will be a problem for RLG. Meanwhile,
Another airstrike, the damage will come through. That's gonna be Ducky going down. And against 4 members there, will not mount to anything. Another kill on the board. Take a look at Redong. Ooh, barely survives, but they will lose the mid turret as well as Axemena just pressing the right buttons.
Axemena, they can, honestly, they can find a way to end this maybe sub 10 minutes, make it a 9-minute game. But based on how they're playing right now, they're probably still just going to take the safe route, try to get the Lord, and then go out with just the first Lord and then end it right there. Everything's falling right for them, just like this.
what?
No. Oh. Expensive spell there.
Already forcing a flicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Throwboy's level 10. Okay, not that far though, if you compare the Lancelot. I would think that it's a 2-level gap, but now take a look at and stun, Law and Order, everything. And is able to find an angle to get away. That's a clean triple sweep. Redonk, the airstrike stun, the damage will come through. Redonk forced to use that flicker as the Arlet falls. Daylight trying to get something on the map, and they will get that inner top.
Wants that Sky Piercer stack, man. Already 2 at this point of the game for Speedy. If we're taking a look at the items coming in from Daylight, you'd want that Holy Trinity, or the Swift Trinity rather, and there's only the Corrosion Scythe as well as the Golden Staff. VHS should be coming by real soon, but I don't know. It might be too late. How do our LG stave off that pressure that Axemen are currently holding over them?
First off, they need significantly more items and EXP on their Arlott, who is 050 and is 3 levels behind the Phobius.
And trying to find a kill, not able to there, as the cover and the reinforcements is still there for Kwanok.
Axe. I think they're just going to be looking to put the RLG out of their misery in this game number 1, even though they've drafted the more familiar and orthodox lineup. It's Axemena who's playing more familiar and orthodox with an unorthodox decision to put a Jushin in the gold lane.
I think it feels like it came back down to like the fundamentals, right? When we talk about the drafts, because if we're looking at the EXP lane, Alpha definitely has a better time against Arla in the early game, and then we saw that actually being executed in game. Ducky, first few minutes of the game already taken down. Mid, the fact that they moved the Farsa into the mid lane, a lot more burst, a lot more mobility as well with Rice Crim, and it felt like they didn't have a hold of the mid, and also in the early stages in the gold lane, it was true. So RLG are working at in a way where their composition makes a lot more sense, but in the early game, it feels like a lot less easy to execute in the laning phase.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow, that's a very nasty solo there. Now it's a 5v4 Ducky. Forced to use that flicker, but that's gonna be the flicker from Alpha. And that will be a kill for Speedy, so another stack headed. And Axemena, you mentioned toying. I agree. At this point, they know, it's 15-1.
They'll get this Lord without a problem, and I think they're just going to march with it straight to victory. 6 deaths on the Arlott of Ducky. Usually you don't see a glaring, how do I say this, difficulty for the Arlott up against a Phobius. Naturally, the Arlott will struggle against a Phobius, but there are a lot of ways that you can make it easier for yourself and for your team to make it look a little bit more of an even matchup, even though on paper it really heavily leans towards Phobius. This time around, it's just like the most obvious Phobius beats Arlott game I've seen in my life.
Quanok's rocking like the 2 mage items that have been buffed. Genius and the Lightning.
Wow. That is a nasty daylight now. Caught, forced to use that flicker. It will go down for 120 seconds. Yeah, DHS secured, but I think it's just too late.
Let's see. You know what? Let's play a game. Will Axemena get at least, will Axemena get a Savage? I say yes.
Wow.
With Speedy, maybe.
With Throwboy, I think, right?
Oh, okay. For me, Rice Crim.
Ducky, though, finds a 3-man knockup, no follow-up. Throwboy picks up the Unstoppable. If they find another kill for Throwboy, the Savage might come through, but it seems like they will take it slow.
Why didn't they give it to the high loss, man?
That's a shutdown. Signs of life. Bottom side, though, still Siege. Axe will not be hasty. They will take their time. RLG still holding on. That's a stun. That's a knockup. That's a damage coming through. Good night, Lancelot. Let's take a look at the top lane here. He's trying to control that lane. And is this comebackable?
No. I'm sorry. No, it should not be comebackable. If they do make a comeback, give Radius Legend an award for that, because this is a steep mountain to climb. 8 deaths on Ducky's Arlott.
Oh, this is not good. Ducky falling, hey. In a very peculiar position. Tech charge just to get back to safety. They will get the clear, but they will lose their inhibitor in the bottom side.
It seems like they still can't end.
Yeah. I think the Hayabusa falling like that was one of the biggest reasons.
Change your name. All right. At this
Boy?
point. Yes. Change it to Carry Boy.
Or just leave Boy. You can take the throw out. Just leave it as Boy.
Oh,
or,
that works.
Or if you want to be known as Man, just leave it as Man.
Leave it as Man.
Yeah.
Throw man?
There is a... okay, I feel like that... Why does that feel worse than Throw Boy? No, but... Okay. I would call that like a complete throw, but a little fun fact as to why he chose Throw Boy as his IGN is because that became a little nickname for him with people playing with him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Little server, yeah. So that's why I just throw boy. And he decided to embrace
Embody.
it, embody it as a means to challenge himself.
That's crazy. In the bottom side, though, the action is
Oh.
actually caught. So that's a kill.
We're seeing mistakes happening.
We
Is it
are.
comebackable?
Let's see, it's a 5v4 on
Hey.
paper, but Throwboy will lock in towards that Lord.
Neck charge.
Now Ducky finds a flicker play, but the damage will not be enough. Ducky falling again. Spear of Misery misses. That's gonna be hey. Taken down as well. As Speedy will find the monster looking for Radonk, but not able to close the distance. 2v1, Lancelot against Speedy and Rice Cream. Not enough damage, and ladies and gentlemen, this might be it.
But remember, the 2 cores are still up for grabs. There should be a potential here.
Let's see, haha, and will not be able to escape as, ladies and gentlemen, game 1. X-Mena, the win is within their sights, but they're not able to close it out just yet. Rice Cream taking a lot of damage. Daylight plus the win of nature, but the magic damage will still come through as X-Mena now still holding on. Will they go for more as the minion waves are coming in? X-Mena, are they going to be hasty? Will they throw again? Ducky trying to hold on. Damage is not there, and he will fall as Throwboy finds a kill. Alpha very low, but it seems like X-Mena will overwhelm RLG in this first game. And ladies and gentlemen, that will be all.
Gold lane juice in. No deaths for Speedy. 8-0 and 4. That's the headline for you. Axe wins in almost 15 minutes of action, 23-4 against a struggling Radiance Legend Gaming.
Your boy Speedy will rock that danger, and alongside Farsa,
Yeah.
that's going to be a very, the range is
Yeah.
a lot.
I'm leaning a little bit more as well towards Axe here. Even though on paper RLG has a lot of potential, Axe has just proven to be a top quality team compared to their opponents. Unless RLG has one last big surprise ready for us in this game number 2, Axe versus RLG, Mena versus Vietnam.
Let's force a game 3. Right? Let's go all the way. If RLG still want to, play around with Axe, why are you looking?
Oh yeah, like hopefully.
Throwboy though, very low.
Throw boy, what are you doing?
Hey! With the concussive blast, he was able to find the kill, and that will be a 1-for-1.
I would not say that was Throw Boy's fault. That was all Hey made the right call there.
RLG, baby. They're coming back here in game 4 and game 2.
For the record, I was the only caster who put the 2-1.
Actually, that's true.
That's true.
So I don't know about the girl on my left here. Wants a game 3.
You were a Speedy girly. What happened?
Yeah, I call bandwagon, but
No, but of course we'd want to see RLG be able to end things on a high note as well here in the M7 wildcard. And that is a good start to it. But they're going to need to find a way to sort of temper the form that X-Mena still is leading in terms of their matchups in the EXP and mid. Once again, Alpha is just bullying ducking the EXP lane.
no. Hey now. Very different scenario. And he was in earlier. That will be a free kill for X-Mena.
Quanak doing Quanak things, right? MVP of the first game on the Farsa, doing the exact same thing on the Farsa here in the second game. A very aggressive emblem choices as well for Quanak, dealing a lot more damage, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go for a similar item route too, to emphasize that burst. Oh, okay. Oh,
My goodness. The damage on that Uranus, insane. No kick yet available for Hehe, so they should be fine.
Yeah, not level 4 just yet here. Another airstrike pop right there. Very peculiar, but seems like just to put out information. Regardless, Throwboy will still take the first nude. Hey. No flicker. That's gonna be Shadow Kill though, connecting on towards Hey. So, yeah. Throwboy was taken down early on, but that's gonna be the recovery. Radon, 1 HP. AOG, Rice Cream, right on the mark, will take that kill.
4-1 now. 1,400 gold lead for X-Mena. Really good finishing as well coming from Rice Cream. Granted, maybe in certain situations that could have been like an overextend, but it worked out. Nobody was there to follow up or punish Rice Cream in that venture. So similar to game number 1, it feels like Axmena really, really just dominating this game from the early.
Yeah, quite a great start now. With the lead that they have, at around 3 minutes in, they can just keep up the aggression at this point. It seems like they found their footing again after the bad start because of the pressure applied onto Throwboy. And because, yet again, the EXP lane is getting dominated by Alpho, that means Axmena has a good anchor on their side.
A lot of, the map is right here for Axmena, right? Providing information in the mid lane, a small action. Radon will not be able to survive that one. That's a kill and perhaps a turret in the next wave for Axmena. RLG just couldn't find their rhythm. And receiving a lot of damage there from that Shadow Cannon will be taken down. No orange buff for the Lancelot here in minute number 4. Things are looking from bad to worse here early on.
Somehow it feels like the movements or the rotations coming from Axmena, it's so on point, right? Throwboy always mirrors the movements. They know that Hehe isn't there, but
potential pick-off an attempt. That's a flicker. That's going to be Daylight securing a kill, an important one as well. Will that be enough? AOG, the line. Monarch with the wings by wings. Trying to isolate members. Daylight with Spirit of Misery. That's a Purify popped. But no threat more as Axmena wasn't able to close their distance, and RLG, well done for them to deny that kill, but still, turtle for Throwboy.
Yeah, they don't get a turtle, but that was a nice little display by the Monsters and the show together. Oh my goodness!
at this point, build Sky Piercer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Go. There you go, Speedy. Build it.
Yeah, but also, you know what?
Good call.
They want to throw boy as well.
Yeah, let's see. Hey, finds a kick on towards Throwboy. That's a shutdown. Unfortunately, it falls to Hey, but Axmena here gotta stay composed, and surely but surely RLG will be active here, looking for mistakes, forcing mistakes if Axmena is not careful.
Caster Curse?
Yes, indeed. Indeed, the caster curse. Hey, he's been landing those kicks very well in this game so far.
I agree.
Widely impressed. Trying to see if maybe RLG can find a way to get Ducky some items, a little bit more progress, because so far the Uranus is just running over everyone. He can just keep doing this, stand in front of RLG and not even allow them to position well.
Oh, not again.
Yikes.
Every time flicker there, but yeah, you can sense the pressure just given by Alpha. The Uranus, by the way. And Axmena still just holding on the tempo, controlling the map, and it seems like RLG, the game is slipping away from them.
But advantage that RLG has, again, oh wait a second, Hee-Chan. Can he get out?
I don't think so. Oh, no.
He gets out.
He did not commit the shadow kill. Throwboy, very, very cheeky there, but the YSS will survive. Radon! That's a two-man AOG. That's going to be Ducky and Radon taking down Axmena, shifting their gears, and RLG, they don't like it.
That looks way too easy for Rice Group to land that AOG on the two. I am perplexed.
You're perplexed?
I am perplexed and I'm shocked.
Looks pretty good for Axmena.
Yeah, HHM this time, I don't think he will survive. They take down two. Previously, they will take two now. As, ladies and gentlemen, we're not even 7 minutes in. It's already 11 kills and 6,000 gold lead in hand. That's a genius one for Quano. Spells nasty.
Also the second stack for Speedy on the Sky Piercer. So you can expect that to help them a lot more as well. Oh, here we go.
AOG again, locking two members down. They make it look so easy. That's going to be the double. That's going to be Speedy, though, shut down by Hey again. Two important shutdowns taken by the roamer from RLG. That is not ideal.
They did trade for Speedy, though.
Yeah, they were able to get the gold laner down. But it seems like it got to the point where Karnok is playing as if this is old school Farsa. The Farsa that from, I'd say you know what, it's 2026, 5 years ago.
You?
Like, yeah, that level of Farsa, like, actually not even like 2019, 2020 Farsa.
Wow.
That really, like, unstoppable kind of Farsa that after many years had to do kick on the Alpha might happen.
Uh-oh, that's a purify pops. That's a damage. Alpha finally gets taken down to 5v4 now. Let's see. Hey. Not able to sustain the damage, but it's one up gone. Now it's a 3v4, but Speedy is on it. That's a quick double as he picks up the malefic roar. Radom is able to juke from that AOG, but not from the damage from Throwboy. As Daylight looks to salvage something top, but X-Mena here, they're able to recover from that early onslaught.
Going for the Lord straight away here, 5,000 gold lead. Looking to see whether or not RLG want to look for a crazy steal. You can see HHN hovering in the vicinity, but it looks like it will be a free Lord given to Axmana.
Now with that locked in, heading into the 9th minute, Lord kill brought to you by Real Meat Control 5G. Looks like this really could be it. They do have a couple of items on Daylight. No, actually, no, not just a couple. They have the Trinity locked in. They have Radon's real world manipulation. This could still work out well for them. They just really need to avoid the Feathered Airstrike and the AOG.
Can they? Throwboy very aggressive.
HHN will not be able to survive. They have to defend with 4 and potentially 3 soon as Radon is not able to get out from that, ladies and gentlemen. The base is wide open with just Ducky and Daylight. That's a kick, but no true follow-up. The Lord is on the base. That's a 2-man taunt. And ladies and gentlemen, Axmana will claim the clean sweep. Going up against RLG. Perfectly executed. Perfect MLBB.
The runner-ups from MENA, former champions earlier the first half of this year, will be able to end their campaign in the wild card with their heads.
Not doing anything, you're kind of just going for those side lanes, right? So whatever your goat laner is going to be, which I'm assuming is going to be a marksman, maybe something like a Claude, has to be...
Great with top content creators, teams from NPL ID.
Code there for you. And if you want to look good in-game also,
Hey, even on that Cho, you know, whose job is technically to be a nuisance going up against a Farsa like so, but he's rocking the Purify, so he's fine.
I think, in a way, yes. It's definitely not complicated. It's just prio picks, but again, it is straying away from the strengths of Zeta, especially if this Uranus goes into the XP lane, which is... It looks like it's going to be the case. Fanny pick for 10. This is the first time that we get to see him on the Fanny in the wild card. He's been amazing on flashy picks, but for some reason in the wild card, again, could be the nerves that we've been talking about for the last 2 days. He's been weird. He dashes forward on the Yisun Shin, he dashes forward on the Hayabusa, and sometimes he just gets caught for no reason.
Seems like he's looking at different things that we see ourselves on the screen, and he seems to spy opportunities that he think might work out. And on a Fanny, there's going to be more of those that he needs to be careful about. Looking at the side of Boostgate, though, there are targets available for the Fanny to make plays happen, but I don't know if he'll be able to actually find those moments, especially considering that Push Tezet should be quite aware of the dangers of assassins against his lineup.
Another thing is, for Zeta, their draft, I'm just worried that it will be all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys did say that they kind of overthinking. Having a Fanny, if at 5 to 7 minutes you're kind of not doing anything, you're kind of just going for those side lanes, right? So whatever your goat laner is going to be, which I'm assuming is going to be a marksman, maybe something like a Claude, has to be kind of self-sufficient because your jungler isn't going to be there to carry. So I'm just hoping the other 2 picks balances out the draft a little bit, because if not, I will be having a headache, even if my brain can't feel pain.
Yeah, your skull will definitely feel the pain of this one if that's the case. Good bans, though, on the side of Zeta Division. They've really tried to get the Fanny into a comfortable spot. The Claw does get banned. I'm thinking now Harriet for Zeta. It works with the composition. Now you have another magic damage source into the late game. You don't need to rely on the juice in on Sky Piercer. You can really just start to get the Fanny and the Harriet into a comfortable spot. But they don't go with the marksman, and this means range is a problem. Zeta Division don't have a lot of it. So even if they win out the neutral objectives and get a lead, sieging is quite bad.
I would say their win condition is very small, right? The window is very tight because now you're having a CC. Having a 100% win rate is good on paper, but looking at a lineup, Uranus, the CC, the Fatty, and all, kind of screams that we do want to fight. We're not going to be scaling all that well. So I just want to see, can they actually fight the aggression against Bousquet, because we did talk about it. The early game, they do like to fight quite a lot.
And you're going to see for Zeta, they need to find something else to kind of start the fights with. Because right now, it's only the Lantern player, basically, for the team. And again, against Bousquet's lineup, with all this crowd control, the real manipulation, the dark waves as well, if they dive into this without anything else to kind of assist the beginning of the fight, it might be a bit difficult. They might get comboed.
What's going to be Roamer here?
Honestly, looking at this composition, it's tough to pick any
Any,
roamer
yeah.
you're thinking about.
So it has to be a weird one, right? Might be something we haven't seen for a while.
The end of one thing.
What?
is
Never
the
mind.
beginning of
Uranus
another.
Rome? CC Rome?
It looks like
Wait.
it's going to be Uranus Rome.
Oh.
Shout out to Rect, he's a pioneer in this part. He played this in early seasons with Revitalize. Everybody called him a mad lad. I called him a madman.
Maybe he's a visionary.
Maybe.
From the looks of it, Zeta's whole idea here is to be able to outmaneuver the whole lineup of Bousquet and just use movement speed, right? The Uranus, the Esmeralda, the Sushin, these are all very mobile heroes, but again, very weak on the crowd control side. So we'll see how this goes. It's mobility against crowd control, basically.
Or just say screw the rules. I'm here to fight. I got a Uranus up front, and all of us is just gonna charge from behind. I'm hoping to see an AOT skin here coming in from the Fanny, because this gives that kind of energy.
Tatakai.
My soldiers rage!
Shinzo Sasageo!
Erwin
5
Schmish.
seconds. The enemy
Dude, I love
reaches
Full
the
Metal
battlefield.
Alchemist.
Smash them.
I love it too.
All
But yeah,
troops
that triggers me a bit.
deployed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game
Welcome
one here.
to
Zeta
Mobile
Division going up against
Legends.
Bousquet. And Zeta Division, they gotta win a 2-0 to go on to the next stage of the wild cards.
That's an anime plot, man. Seriously.
Quite literally, right? Being on the back foot, have one moment to really shine. Let's see how they perform here. Katsu already getting poked down. In the lane, usually this is going to be a bit difficult, but with a Uranus that can sustain all that damage, it kind of nullifies the Yeeve just a little bit. We'll have to see what they do. Can they rotate faster than Bousquet?
So it's an Impure Rage Fanny as well, yeah? Not the Lethal Ignition.
yeah.
I thought with a lot of the utility that they have, they would go for Lethal Ignition, additional burst, but it's just playing it for longer team fights, I'm guessing.
Looks like Walter will take a bit of damage, but funny thing is, oh, hold on, is it moving too forward?
Oh! Good cables, but it gets caught in the Dark Wave and the Flicker. Now it's a lockdown over. Exi gonna be caught, and look at the sustain coming in. Kani still alive through it all. Junichi has enough time to tear through Kazue now as he gets up with the Traceless. Junichi with the Flicker in, an early lead for Zeta Division as they try to go for the dive on Identity, but it's just that.
What a turn of events here. Zeta Division using the early sustain to bully Bousquet, losing 10 in the beginning of the sequence, and somehow, some way, using the consistent damage coming in from the Uranus, the Esmeralda, and the Sushin. This seems to be the idea, right? They can out-sustain and outmaneuver Bousquet. So now it kind of puts Bousquet on the back foot. They can't really go for these fights without knowing that they can close it out definitely.
Again, this is a draft that says screw the rules, man. I just want to fight, and that's where Zeta Division, they understood that there are risks. Someone will die, right? You kind of just have to not care about it and trust that your teammates can pick up the pace. Like, fine, we lost our jungler, but does that really matter? We're not going to be contesting Turtle anyways. We're just here for the kills.
That's true. But it is rather concerning here. Junichi gonna be ganked to the bottom lane. Just as I was saying, no purple buff on Fanny. I think I would take purple buff on Fanny and 0 kills compared to no purple buff on Fanny and 3 kills start.
Well, right now they are starting to Turtle, and Zeta Division actually is hovering around the area, thinking that they might want to try to collapse, maybe hoping for a Bousquet to overextend and maybe get some kind of kill.
Yeah, June's gonna be back as well. It is the Flying Cloud map, so they can get around the map really quick. Zeta have control. XC is gonna be zoned away by Katsu now. As he puts the Lantern Flare on him. No retaliation on the Turtle. Free take. Katsu gonna be taken very low. Gonna go for the Crimson Beacon now, locking them down. The Dark Wave over to Katsu, but he goes, no, he keeps on jumping in, and it actually gets him out. Junichi with a double. Now it's Identity caught on the cables as Junichi gets a triple.
Man, they're just running over, diving the turret as well. RX can't do anything.
The traditional rules of MLBB do not apply to Zeta Division.
I kind of feel like for Bousquet, they're having different ideas here because we saw Kazooie. He understands that I'm not going to fight this. I don't care. I'm just going to farm up. I'm a Yu Shin. If I get an item advantage, I'm going to win. But the rest of Bousquet is like, no, we can fight. What you talking about? It's just Zeta Division. And then they paid a price for that over-aggression.
Back to right now, still trying to deny this orange take, but look at 10 zoning them away.
Oh, he's got to be careful though. Mountain Chakra is available. Kani is able to juke away from Mountain Chakra. Junichi's too darn tanky, and with this, you don't really want to be chasing the Esmeralda Uranus. They're buying so much time.
Yeah. Right now, looking at the movements here, Junichi though is staying for quite a while, using the flicker, trying to get away. AOG hits no one. It looks like Junichi is going to get out of there. Right now, Zeta Division is 1.6k ahead, but I feel like it's definitely not enough. For them to be comfortable, they need at least 3,000. At 3,000, you're kind of like half an item advantage, and at that point, then you can really start to push the aggression. But if only about 1,000, 2,000, Boostgate is honestly fine, especially because they have scaling.
They have scaling, but they have to be careful because their gold lane is a fighter technically at this point. So in the late game with enough items, the Esmeralda and the Uranus are going to be such big problems for them to deal with without consistent DPS. Zeta Division has had a lot of questions thrown at them about the neutral objective take. It seems like now they're saying, we don't want the 50-50. We want the brawls first, and then can deal up with the neutral objectives later.
Yeah, looking at the movements here, Exi is having a hard time against Junichi. It looks like he's already prepping for it, building the War Axe first so that if there's an extended fight, he can survive.
The tempo they have is just so much more compared to Boostgate. Xe is getting bullied in the bottom lane. They have the rotation without any reaction from Boostgate. They go on Turtle, starting it off. Katsu trying to go for the zone. Counting now pops in Consecration as Junichi gets locked out with a taunt and a Mountain Shockers. The RWM comes down, but it's still Katsu with the back, doing so much with the help of 10, but he gets kicked, and now the AOG locks him down for Boostgate Esports to get 2 free kills. Katsu taunted, Xe with a double. Moiminette still able to go with the yo-yos, hiding away. No real lockdown to take him out, but it is a win for Boostgate.
A great adjustment from Boostgate Esports here. In the previous fight, they kind of got forced to clump together, trying to avoid the pick-off potential, the shred from the CC and 10 on the Fanny. But because they do that, they take a lot of damage from Esmeralda and Uranus together. But now they're spacing out, and you can see that Zeta Division are lacking that damage.
And here's the thing, Zeta Division, they lack the damage because they made quite crucial mistakes in my opinion, where number one, they're not targeting the same members. It's very spread out, trying to make it like a 1v1 everywhere. And even 10 made the mistake. Instead of ulting Identity, he actually ulted RX.
Seems to be looking for Identity, but again, RX comes in from the side and kind of took the aggro. Definitely needs to be a bit more careful as you take a look at the replay here by our official payment partner, Visa.
Oh, look at the movements here. Like, again, like everyone is spread out. You basically have 2 different team fights, and 10 using his ult onto RX. 10K at this point, and the fight goes through.
Yeah, we miss out on quite a bit of action there. 10 still was able to get the purple, but it seems that one Kazue with a jump in under turret. The taunt is perfect, and Kazue gets a triple under the tier 1 in the mid lane.
Oh boy, Zeta Division falling behind right here. They wanted to use the sustain and the fighter advantage to get early game tempo, but now in the mid game, Boostgate are outdoing them.
Wait a second, Moiminette already used the curtain call. This could be another dive under turret. Kani can rotate, but what is Uranus gonna do? Just stand there. Oh man, Wactor going in as well. He steals the kill. It's okay, kill secure.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is where we talk about the draft, man, because this is a draft that is very risky. Like, it may work every 1 in 20 times in rank, right? But here on the professional stage, where people know how to play around your win condition, which Zeta Division has like, I don't know, maybe 1.5.
Yeah, slim window.
It's hard to execute this kind of draft.
See, Vactor here trying to find something. RX!
They go for the Wave Dragon, able to lock him down, but it is Junichi who's very, very tanky. Falling Star Moon, almost an escape, and Kazue gets the fadeaway kills. Katsu tries to stick away from the real world manipulation, gets out barely. Turtle, though, will be secured by Zeta Division. They've distracted Boostgate Esports.
An unorthodox approach here from Zeta Division. It seems like, for the most part, they're really trying to... They really need to just dive with the backline before they do something. Xe trying to find something.
Taunt as well, the cables came through. Now he's going to go for the purple bomb. The current call comes over. The plan seems to be kind of weird for them. AOG in the back, that's a Purify, but you cannot Purify Kazue's damage. Running through them all. Another double for Kazue, 7, 1, and 6. Junichi's tanky, but against 3, it's going to be very hard to run.
At this point, even with the power of friendship, man, I don't see a way where Zeta Division can come back into this game. The only way that they can win if it's somehow Boostgate just tunnel vision
And throw.
and Zeta Division just be like, okay, we're just gonna 1v1 everywhere. 2 people in one lane, 2 people in the other lane, 1 person just try to stall them out. and then try to get as much turrets and then end the game. But I don't see that happening.
I mean, weird. That might be what they need to do, because right now they can't really win the 5v5 with the combos here from Boostgate. They just keep getting comboed because they're coming up together with the fighters.
Dude, XC can actually take this 2v1. Crimson Beacon. Oh, in front of Pursuit. One last one on Katsu. 1v3, and he likes those odds. XC with a win.
Oh boy, despite the great start from Zeta Division, 5 kills on Junichi, there's still nothing they can do right now. They're tanky, but there's just so much damage available from Boostgate Esports. And the fact that Kazue is playing so well, technically with the distance management, he's just outputting damage, and Zeta Division seem to be looking for him, but they can't find him.
Oh, 10. Not a lot of energy. Quite a lot of people.
Whoa! Okay, he can follow through, but there's no way you have enough damage to take him down.
But you know he was thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, even if I die, it will look cool.
It would look cool.
And the rule of cool. Oh, hold on. AOG.
Straight into the purple buff, and they actually steal it away. Kazue got the retry on it, so this is no purple buff Fanny once again. If Sarma will be... Oh, Identity flickers onto the wall. The real world manipulation's right there now as XC tears through them again. Kazue got through Kani. Muimanet just barely surviving here, and Zeta Division only have Junichi. Was able to get the shutdown, but it's only on to Actor. So I think for Boostgate, they're fine. XC still jumping around now onto Muimanet. He goes in for Pursuit ready. He goes in one more time! Infernal Pursuit! It's called Eternal Pursuit in the hands of XC because he just can't stop jumping.
It seems like a good opportunity for Zeta to turn that around once Boostgate will kind of spread apart from the chaotic fight. But unfortunately, 10 didn't really get the right combo there to try and secure XC.
You know how I always create this impossible scenarios? Like 5-man Final Slash, 5-man Furious Dive. I can't even make one for this.
There's a 5-man Lantern Flare knockup into a 2-man Curtain Call.
And everyone just deals damage one at a time.
5-man Falling Sarmon.
Into the shred coming in from 10, maybe.
I don't see 3 Holy Crystals on Junichi, so I don't know about that.
Not a single one, actually.
Not a single one. So, reserve your expectations.
He actually went with the Oracle here for the extra shielding, even though technically, if you look at the roster of Boostgate, a lot of the damage is physical. You know, they're going to be forced to commit again due to Vactor just flanking, perhaps with the AOG. Here's the Lord push, though, into the base.
Yeah, the clear is abysmal for Zeta Division. The Juicins, I guess, just going to shine light on the Lord. And that's it, right? They really can't clear. Double taunt coming down. Dark Wave landing on 2 and shock in the combo! Bursting through both Kani and Junichi. They're still able to get out, but they've used so many resources. Flicker, Retry, Revitalize, and the Consecration.
Well, now with the Blade of Heptases, I don't even think you can one-shot Kazue, because maybe that's... Nah, I think even if you do that, it's way too difficult.
Yeah.
So, you guys know, like, us casters, for us to prepare for a tournament, you know, we play in ranked games, test out the new heroes after the patch and everything. And sometimes we test out a draft. I don't know if I want to test out a draft with Zeta Division.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it to Zeta Division for this one, right?
Yeah.
They do have a chastised Pauldron, though, so that's going to slow down Yisun Shin's attack speed a bit.
Yes. And you know what they say. A bit is less than a lot, but it's more than nothing.
That is true, man. And maybe that extra healing, the 20% max HP healing when you're low, will help Kani bait out some of these situations. But so far, 8K, almost 9K gold lead for Boostgate. The win condition for Zeta is definitely out of their hands at this point. The ball is in Boostgate's court, and so far they've been playing it pretty well. No real big throws, big mistakes to be seen so far.
As of right now, the entire Land of Dawn is Boostgate's court.
Yeah, it's purple. They have Eve and
Phobius
and Boostgate. Oh, yeah. Boostgate's logo is purple, Lafel.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
What about Zeta Division? You know, black. It's white. Close enough. Close enough. XC just really likes going in against 4 members, and he's actually enjoying it a lot as the AOG comes through to zone them in the back. XC again baiting them all out of the base where they should be more comfortable. RWM over to Kani. He should still be able to get out. Pops in a Revitalize. And that's it, you know, just a little bit of these 2 teams having fun.
We're seeing a little bit of potential here from Zeta Division in a sense that if they can't really get boxed in by an AOG or a big crowd control catch, they can actually kite back away from the damage quite reliably. But again, Boostgate, all they need to do is set up 1 or 2 spells to make sure that doesn't happen, and they can get a pretty decisive fight.
Dude, XC just likes this. Dark Wave again on green. For the pursuit constantly into the back now. Goes in again. Has it. Brings out the Purified. Katsu has to walk away. XC on a monster kill. The Mountain Shark was able to lock Junichi down, but XC again is just going to tear through them. Now it's Jude and a great kick from RX to put the nail in the coffin. Zeta Division. 1 game loss will send them back home, and it seems like Boostgate will not give them any chances.
Dude, at this point, it's not Phobius, it's for Obvious. Get it? Obvious. Anyways, looks like they're going to end the game here. Boostgate is their 10,000 goal lead, 14 minutes into the game. And congratulations to Boostgate, because at this point, they're secure going to the next stage.
Yeah, folks, if you guys did not catch the pre-game, Boostgate just needed 1 game, 1 point, and they are through to the next stage of Wildcard. Zeta Division now have officially been eliminated from the group stage of the M7 Wildcard.
And they took that slot immediately in devastating fashion, man. It seemed like initially, with all the kills coming to Junichi, there was a chance, right? But that mid-game, you can see the aggression coming in from Boostgate. And again, crowd control dictates so many things. Where you fight, when you fight, and Boostgate definitely did not allow Zeta any opportunities, especially when they have a say in the matter.
You can see XC plotting his revenge the entire game. In the early stages of the game, they just keep ganking him nonstop, and he's just like, Kotubukao. Right? you just wait, man.
Just you
wait. When I saw that War Axe, I'm like, okay, this guy might be popping off, because you can see, even Mercury, like, that is probably unnecessary, but at the same time, for him, it's super necessary.
It's super necessary indeed. Those last few hits after you knock an opponent down, those are the beautiful shots.
And if the ref is concerned about it, you gotta stop the situation. And right here, there's no ref in the land of Dawn, so Boostgate just kept going.
Well, I'm pretty sure the marshal's like, should we pause? should we ask him to calm down?
Should Ola throw the towel in?
Yeah.
What's gonna go on here? But yeah, that's it, man. Especially after the Queen's Wings.
Yeah.
He was just, all right, I can take you guys on.
Dude, having that War Axe, again, like, the Spellbend got nerfed, sure, but that's one of those items that it gets better as the longer the fight goes. I'm pretty sure he got max stacks in, like, what, in 3 seconds? And he just keeps on jumping, and it's like, what you gonna do about it? You have no shred? Like, you got a CEC, but big whoop, you got yo-yos. I eat yo-yos for brunch.
Is that how this...
Breakfast is more of a roti canai thing, but brunch, yo-yos.
I mean, the fact that Zeta Division were looking for those fights in the jungle, in the narrow corridors, it did not do them any favors, dude. That every time a dark wave comes up, you're like, ooh, oh no. And you just see everyone knocked out.
They were
It's like a
excited.
concert.
Yeah, they all jumped for it.
Woo!
You want to do a dark wave?
Like, this way?
Yeah.
Oh, is it because I'm
This way
dark?
or this?
I understand you guys are fair, but why am I the
How
dark?
do you know you're dark if you're colorblind?
The
he's
joke was,
laughing so...
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You know it's bad when the prod asks you to stop while laughing.
Yeah. But that means that's good.
guys, stop.
Okay.
He cracked up nicely. That's pretty tough to do on broadcast.
That's dangerous, man. You can't crack a building like that.
He's a big guy. Speaking of big guys, look at Kazooie, man. 90,000 damage, but XC, he just looks like Kazooie. Big.
I go in 1v3.
You.
Was a low.
He does.
You're Press one button.
Want to see me do it again?
Yeah.
He goes back in.
Yeah.
Sometimes it tells his friends to hold his phone while he jumps in the game.
He's like, hey, can you just press this button? I need a drink.
I need another sip of Red Bull.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be looking at the maps here, and it's going to be broken walls.
Ooh.
What's good at broken walls?
Well,
Anything
you know what?
if you have confidence.
That's true, but also, I think the Uranus is actually really good here, because you have more walls to like just maneuver around.
Yeah.
And technically, a lot of Fanny players say this is a good map for Fanny.
Yeah, I heard that too. I like, you know, not ironically enough, Kadita. Because something about certain walls being broken down actually makes it so much harder to catch a Kadita. Because, you know, there's sometimes awkward moments where you think you would get through it, but you don't, so you're awkwardly stuck there, but she gets through.
Interesting. I do feel like that the broken walls also make it that there'll be more avenues to try and flank on a Kadita. I guess that's why it's also a bit more dangerous. That could be the option that Zeta Division goes for. I think fighters are still very valid, but there won't be as much emphasis on the combos, right? Because now it's going to be...
We want Junichi on playmakers. We don't want to see him on the Uranuses, on Esmeraldas. The fact we got Kani on a Uranus as well, which is really weird, because Kani has done the best on Hilda, and Zeta were the ones that ban out Hilda.
Oh.
They still go Uranus here, and yes, it is a flex, so it's still like understandable, but I don't like the fact that it's flex into Rome.
Do you know if you're flexible, it's easier for you to get hurt?
Really?
Actually, yes.
Oh yeah, true. Arman Sarukian.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you're flexible, it's easier for you. It's cool you're able to do a lot of things, but that's life, you know. You gotta take the pros and the cons.
Yes, sir. And what are the pros of the composition you see on the right now, LaFell?
They're doubling down.
Usually it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is if it broke, we ban Gatot, and then we use the same thing.
Just punch harder. Now that's a Goku mentality right there.
Yeah.
Saitama mentality too, I guess. No, if it doesn't hurt them, just go even more serious, and it'll work out.
Technically,
Same punch.
almost 90% is shown in characters.
Basically, yes. All right. Oh, Ruby this time. It was banned in the second phase by Zeta earlier, but now it's picked up very, very early. Wonder if Boostgate just assumes that Zeta are doubling down, doing the same exact composition.
Yeah, they're like, I dare you to pick Fad.
Yeah.
I dare you.
Fight for
They're
the
like,
ultimate
no,
victory.
Hilda.
great. I love that they went for the Hilda now. The thing I don't like is, again, Uranus on Junichi. I
Okay.
would love to see more on the playmakers, but at least Kani gets a couple things.
Okay, let's discuss this, gentlemen. Where is this Uranus gonna go? Is it gonna be jungles?
I hope not. I hope not.
Is it
That would
gonna be gold? Is it gonna be Rome and then Hilda EXP?
I hope it's Uranus XP Hilda Rome.
I feel like
Mirko, sometimes you don't get what you wish for.
That's true.
that's true. You have to kind of like just wish for the best sometimes. I think for Zeta, I think preferably they would have something that can make more plays available, because you can see that earlier, the Mountain Shocker alone kind of stunted the whole fight plan from Zeta Division. I think that's something that Zeta can do themselves if they have the right tools for the job.
At this point, for Boostgate, I think it's just safe just to ban out a Claude. And
Yeah. If they really want to, the Harith as well.
Actually,
Really good ban, yeah. They already have Eve, so technically they would have a way to deal with the Frog Armor, but I'm guessing there's going to be too many targets to go for with the Uranus and the Hilda, plus the exploit. So pretty solid ban. The carry gets banned out here. So yeah, Boostgate are probably just going to ban out the Claude. It makes sense.
or the coach is like, dude, I swear they're gonna have 4 fighters.
CC again.
So we'll just ban something here. Arlen, CC. Actually, I wouldn't mind Zeta gets a Arlen when they had the draft from game number 1. This one I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Phobias might show up again. Technically, it's still possible, is it not? And again, it's the same kind of comp that can be punished the same way.
For Boostgate Phobius.
Yeah, not enough shreds here. Unless they have what marksman is okay here. Not a lot because of the
Not a lot.
Ooh,
Wow, against a Ruby. Yes, you can get out of the stuns with the fully stacked electrifying beats, but it is difficult to do, especially if you fall behind early.
just don't fight a Ruby.
Just don't fight the Ruby.
just flank around.
If you see the Ruby,
Run.
go. That's smart.
What were you gonna say?
No, because their skill says don't run Wolf King.
Oh,
I thought you were playing on that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the Joy. Technically, it's a bit more. It's a bit easy to catch as well, because you can't really jump over walls and get out of trouble
Hey,
the
broken
same way.
walls.
Exactly. So if Boostgate gets some slows here, get some movement speed options here, they could punish pretty well.
It's not. They not just get Tigreal. No.
No,
Okay. Esmeralda.
That speed.
So that. Oh. Wow. Mid prio. Yves Khalid. This is beautiful. They're gonna rotate everywhere.
They're hovering the CC here.
Oh my lord, man. Like, Muy Minette has to be tired of this already.
It's nice to see it's in Japanese, by the way.
That's true. What is CC's name in Japanese?
I'm trying to,
Shishi.
I'm trying to read it, but
No?
No, I
Okay.
don't think so.
things are moving too fast.
Dude, I tried, okay?
Russia, you're fluent in Japanese.
It might be Shishi, actually. I don't know.
Oh. Wow, you
Dude,
are
stop.
fluent in Japanese.
Stop.
Doubting you. I'll stop
Thank you
doubting
very
you.
much.
I'll stop doubting you, LaFell. I'm
Thank you.
sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just shook his hand, by the way, for the people watching at home.
Later, let's just take a story just to confirm to everyone. Either ways, this draft, this draft is again just about okay. You know what? We kind of know how this match is gonna go through, so let's just fight. What are you looking at here?
It's a big lineup rating diff. Like I think this is one of the biggest gaps
yeah.
in lineup rating for wildcard.
You know, the issue right now, there's no Phobias, but there's an Esmeralda, and technically the same problem exists. You jump on him, trying to go for a 3v1, and just keep sustaining.
I wonder if he even has the ideas like, you know, I don't have a war axe, but hey, maybe concentrated energy. Oh, 4 or 5 item? Heck, maybe. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is game number 2. And with the draft that we have here, I hope there's just more fighting.
And we talked about speed earlier. Sprint picked up there for the Esmeralda, so it's going to be a lot of chase going on. I hope that Zeta Division is ready for that.
So they don't actually just shove in the wave. Oh, the poke whacker forced to flicker early. The damage of the Hilda you cannot underestimate.
And again, this is what Zeta Division have to do. Have a good start, and then just keep doing that. And then eventually you'll be fine.
They should probably also like plan out how they want to fight in the mid game, right? Who do they target? Who do they zone away with the with the heroes that are doing well in the game, right? Probably Kazue and Identity. And once you get the damage dealers away, then maybe you can deal with the tankier members who are just trying to find ground and information.
I would kill Identity and then take all of his jungle away.
You mean Kazue?
No, kill Identity because the Eve can be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because then you just take the jungle in front of Kazue. You don't kill him.
Yeah.
You make him watch.
Assert dominance.
Exactly. You always have to hit multiple ways, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually,
Emotionally,
Psychologically.
maybe even financially. That's why you
oh,
No,
financially, yeah.
in game. Yeah. We get it. The gold, yeah.
Exactly, jungle. You know, don't let it farm.
That's true.
That's fair. That's fair.
Is it though?
Do you plan these phrases, or does he just come on top of it? You're quick with it, man.
It's natural talent.
Yeah.
I've just practiced to have 3 different brains. When one's working, the other 2 are plotting something else.
So you have like a triple personality. Split.
Say ha 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 ha.
Oh. What? That's a reference, Mirko.
Yeah,
you
you
don't
don't
know it
know.
because you haven't seen season 1.
Yeah.
Man, gotta get through the first episode.
first 1,000. First 1,000, you'll be there.
Oh man, look at the prio though for a Boostgate esports. They're taking control. 10. He's looking for the angle here, but he can't just get it. Muimanette has actually rotated in. Oh my lord, Muimanette's out of the fight already. I'm offended and straight into the Mountain Shocker for first blood. And now Kazue is going to be all in under turret. RWM locking him down under turret as well. Turtle taken. Kind of getting in the way. Junichi will not be able to get out.
All right, 10 still in the picture though, and he does have damage. Okay, both teams back away. So far, somewhat equal, but the turtle picked up by Zeta Divisions might be quite the encouraging thing to have happen in the early game. Again, they can't really afford to trade equally, right? They want to try and use these aggressive options in the early game to make sure they get a significant lead.
I would say that was a big lead actually for Boostgate because for Zeta Division, again, they just cannot die in the first 8 minutes. Because allowing Kazue as well as Identity to scale up, now that's a problem. This Eve, once she has the Wishing Lantern, you wish you didn't buy that item. You'd be like, could you just go Blood Wings instead?
Blood Wings.
Yeah.
Definitely would be interesting, but yes, scaling favors Boostgate esports just a little bit. Although in the late game, the Joy might be a big problem. Oh, where's Zeston?
Oh, another kill over to Kazue this time. Warax picked up by RX. And this is what you said. If you don't get rid of the Eve, he gets prio in mid, and then they can just go into Zeta Division's jungle.
Look at this though, invade by 10, trying to get the purple buff, although Kazue gets spotted out.
Oh, does he get it? Yes, he does. Without the retribution too. That's style.
Yep. Now you just gotta get away.
Clean
and he did.
In and out just like that. Moments like that, LFL, is what you're talking about earlier. Just taking some of that jungle, some
Oh
of the
yeah.
jungle. You forgot about that?
Slow.
I can see the Boostgate trying to equalize and go for the purple themselves though, but again, that trio is just so good from Zeta Division.
Yeah, I'm worried because Boostgate, they can actually start a fight. While Zeta Division, they kind of hope Boostgate just botches their engage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. RX with a panic regen there, but it might be actually a smart bait. You'd expect the Easton should be up top, or down below rather, but he's up top. Mountain Shocker lands beautifully done. What a bait by Boostgate Esports.
He's traded in for the turtle though, but the patience on the Mountain Shocker, that was great to see. And look at this. Immediately into the jungle, as LaFell predicted, living in the future as always.
I'm living in tomorrow, but you know, that works too.
Tomorrow, future. Oh, Orange gets taken by 10.
Okay. So now all they have to do, hold on, is not die.
Yeah, full lockdown on Katsu. LaFell almost cursed them there, but he gets out.
All 10 has to do is just 1v2 Kazooie and Identity, kill them both, and then that's it, you win. That's just kill the assassin, marksman, fighter guy,
and then pick Crystal.
There you go.
I mean,
there you go.
It sounds simple, but that might just work, man. With the Uranus and CC, you know, forcing the backline away, opens windows for 10 to go in and find those big moments. And look at this, Kazooie is already at like a 2-level deficit just earlier. This might be how Zeta Division wants to assert that dominance in the neutral objective game.
Yeah, they're taking everything away from Kazooie, dude. 10 is a level ahead, and he's about to reach level 10 while Exy gets a turret down below. All right, that's at least they get a trade.
Again, I feel like for the next objective, if 10 actually does get a kill onto either Kazooie or Identity, that will give him an opportunity to get optimistically 2 turrets. If they get 2 turrets, oh, that's GG. It's going to be so difficult for Boostgate to really protect their jungle unless Zeta Division makes a mistake.
Well, again, there's always ways for Boostgate to go for the catches. They're pulling Star Moon right here, but Kanye is way too quick with it.
Well, look at Junichi already cutting the wave, so really prepping for this 5v5 fight. They just got to be careful not to get caught by the RWM or even the turtle boat.
Look at the mana advantage though. Cut earlier from Junichi sends the Ruby up top as they go for the control in the mid lane and into Turtle.
And that's something Junichi can do. Poke someone under the turret even. Because he just reaches back up, but he's going kind of deep here. No punish available, the falling Star Moon.
Yeah, use on to Junichi. The anti-region stack on him. RX looking for a good position here. Has a good position, but won't be able to find the ammo for Raging Sandstorm. Nobody saw that. That's a curtain call. RX picked up, thrown back. Curtain call doing a lot. RX will flicker out, but Kani follows through, and now Wactor is getting whacked. RWM locks Katsu, but he's able to flicker out to safety. Zeta Division have secured all the turtles in game number 2.
Junichi? Looks like they want to fight. Looking for an opportunity because again, Zeta Division, they gotta get, if they get 2 turrets in either top or bottom, that's good. In this kind of situation, even if you don't get mid, it's honestly fine because you just want to be able to always control one of the buffs. Doesn't matter which one. Preferably purple, but again, it doesn't matter which one, and then you're really making it so that Kazooie doesn't get enough farm to fight back.
Look at the level gap already, but look at this, Kani.
Oh my lord, what a good dodge again. The flicker out from the Raging Sandstorm. Wactor just hasn't been able to land the Raging Sandstorms.
It's just such a big ultimate and so telegraphed that Zeta Division are just dodging away from it for the most part. Way too much sustain too. Like you mentioned, LaFell, now Kazooie is back at level 10, but the level deficit was at 3 levels, you know? If that level deficit persists when the Lord is up, it might be a big problem.
So right now in Zeta Division, we have almost 1,000 gold. And I feel like this is a pretty good goal because Kazooie though does have that war axe. So an extended team fight, if they're not able to take him down fast enough, he might actually be a problem. Especially if one of the first persons he kills is 10.
Once again, Boostgate Esports kind of find something, but the Yi is almost negated. There's no real way for them to start a fight with a real manipulation, and the poke damage just gets sustained up by Kani and Junichi. So Boostgate Esports are playing as if they don't really have a mid laner.
Look at the items here, having that genius as well as the holy
big bonk. RX staying alive for a bit with the sustain of the Ruby, but will fall in the end. Then on the turret, goes for the electrifying beats, actually saves it for a bit, now finally pops it in as the RWM comes through, but they're all able to walk away from it.
And even without getting 2 turrets in one lane, they got 2 turrets on the outside, and in a way they're controlling both buffs.
Yeah.
Making it so that you don't get purple, you don't get orange, you just watch.
It's interesting to see like Zeta Division having so much control, yet only about a 2k gold lead. Kani now getting low, but again, Boostgate, they have to really full commit, falling Star Moon.
It's all on XC right now to really look for the opening because Wactor is getting whacked around. The Raise hands up with the flicker. Back actually, 10 still on it. Pops in electrifying beats over to XC. Still trying to go onto the Lord, but 10 secures it. Wactor, 1 HP. Katsu, shining the light on him. I'm offended. We'll lock him back down. XC's now looking for another kill over on Junichi, but Boostgate Esports decides to call it quits.
If only game 3, they had a joy, and the Uritas is not in the wrong position. Dude, you know what? That's getting the wrong. Game 2 Zeta Division, they are actually looking in quite good position to win this one, but because they're playing around this Ruby quite well, right? We were talking about, you know, 10 on this Joy, just don't fight the Ruby, and everyone else deals with the Ruby, and then once Ruby is out of the picture, the confidence is there.
Oh my, dude, Kani's been clean, by the way, with those flickers.
Quick reactions, for sure. And look at this now. Oh.
Okay, that's it. Purify out. They defend really well. I guess that's great about Boost. That's what's great about Boostgate's comp, right? They have great clear. Zeta have pretty bad siege.
Just adjusting everything on the skirmishes, especially in the buffs, like Lothar mentioned. And remember, some of these fights are won by Zeta Division even before 10 is even involved, and now concentrated energy is built up.
Turn call on the RWM. RX there, still taken out by Kani. As they go for the 1-for-1 trade. Holy Shield up top, gonna be cracked now. Oh, Junichi under turret, pops in Consecration. Gets away, Kazue now on the Mounted Shocker. Don't think it's the right idea to go on June.
But Junichi still trying to make it so that with the lack of siege, he's just diving in and trying to deal with the wave clearers. Quite a bit more than he could chew. No, he's still fine.
Again, it's XC, Folly Sarmoon in the back. They get a tier 2 again at the bottom lane, and it's through, distracting Boostgate Esports with skirmishes that they're able to siege.
Yeah. But Boostgate, they're fine. As long as they keep on protecting their base, eventually full build, and then a Zeta Division. This Uranus is looking tanky now.
Yeah.
But not for long.
Yeah. With more items built up, Junichi is going to have to be a bit more careful. But until then, Zeta Division can abuse this if that's possible, but might be overextended.
That's the combo. They put it all on Kani and June, and they're still alive. They get Kani. Wait, they all get locked up in a door. Wolf King. Great flicker from RX. Zeta Division got caught lacking, and now it's XE dancing on Muy Minette. No Purify. Muy Minette tries to dash away, but Boostgate have found the angle. They found the window, and they went through it.
You can see the hesitation and the regret of 10. 10 dashed in, and with all that crowd control, is like, wait a minute. Should I really be here? And then just flickers forward, RX gets 3 members of Zeta Division. By the point they knew it was a bad fight, it was too late.
It wasn't necessary, and again, Zeta Division has been able to overwhelm Boostgate by flanking around. They just went in together in one choke point and allowed that Ruby that we talked about to have so much value there. That's a Sky Piercer built up by Katsu late in the game. Now it's a Lord situation. Let's see how this one goes.
Now, I would prefer something like a Wishing Lantern or maybe even Blood Wings just to make sure that you stay alive. So this is very interesting here. A bit late, but
away from Kani now as Kazue is able to get away. It's the rest of the team trying to peel for him now as Wactor gets taken out. That's a Sky Piercer stack, but Katsu falls instantly as XC picks up the killing spree. Kani waiting in the bush, but there's no way he can go and kill Kazue alone now.
A big wave on the bottom side though. It did indeed push for Zeta Division. But now, because of the fight having a break here, Identity will be there to clear out. Boostgate Esports actually gained value because Zeta Division lost a bunch of minions when the wave was pushing towards Boostgate.
Yeah, the thing is, this is just going to get better and better for Boostgate. They have 2 strong scalers with the Eve as well as the Yeast shit. Zeta Division, they just need a good angle to fight. They're not finding it.
No, man, he's trying desperately to go for the Lord. It's going to be a 50-50 red tree battle as Kazue goes in, but they're going all in, and Kazue still finds it as well as 10! How did he manage to do that when June and Kani were on him?
That is just unfortunate, man. Now with the Lord, Boostgate Esports have the much superior siege. Zeta Division are going to be stuck in the same situation they were.
Thing that you learn by experience, right? When you're using a draft that you can really control the map, control the jungle, you know when you're a little bit too far ahead. You know when to cut your losses, and you know when you're overextending. Because even with, say, 7,000 gold lead, there is an opportunity that you can overextend, and you can kind of sabotage your own team.
That's true. Man, alright, Max was the unsung hero, because even in the red tree situation, he actually caught 10 too. So he was actually doing so well right here. You can appreciate boost gain because they know when to be aggressive, but even when they're kiting back, right? You saw them punish Zeta Division so efficiently.
Yeah, again, I'm looking at Zeta Vision, smiles, but we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
We can see the heart,
The eyes don't lie.
the eyes and hips. Those two can.
Hashtag Shakira.
Anyways, 19 to 9.
10 out of 10.
Zeta Division did so well for the first, what was it, 12 minutes? 12 minutes of the game?
Yeah, 11?
More or
11?
less.
11 minutes?
10,
Yeah.
Somewhere there. Because we thought that, especially with
They got
10
all the turtles, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, and Sky Piercer.
Yeah.
If
I
that
don't
was
know, okay.
if that was item number 1, I can still accept it.
But what do you think about the Clock of Destiny rush? Because
I
usually-
don't do that.
Yeah, right? Because like usually
You can't
go-
buy time with clock.
You can. Yeah, I thought you so open up now. All right. Okay. No. The Clock of Destiny usually is like the last item, right? Like
Yeah.
you build the Elegant Gem and then you build to the Clock of Destiny once you're done with everything.
That's one way of doing it, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like 3 patches ago, it's fine for you to go for clock first because at that point, you just need more mana, right? You need more mana and you're probably going to be in the middle of a team fight, so there's a good chance that you're going to be below. But now, no. Now you definitely have to shift that.
And I think the reason Kato has the most deaths is also because no Brave Smite, right? Like usually
Oh,
go Brave Smite, this is the
yes.
Impure Rage.
Oh my god.
So it was,
I didn't notice that.
yeah, it's probably the reason why it's not as you would expect of a Juicin.
Oh yeah, I that could like an airplane that just flew over my head.
Yeah. Oh. For realize planes don't fly over your head; planes crash.
Right.
We don't talk about that. Yeah.
I mean, the other issue is as well is that Zeta don't really have, again, playmaking potential. No real catches, crowd control. It's only Katsu on the Tushin, so Katsu has to overextend to try and find the lifts to really start the fights
Yeah.
off properly.
So yeah, I really feel like this is just another case of not enough experience.
Absolutely.
I just really believe all the regions, whenever there's a world championship coming up, if you have some form of, if you've been to 2 internationals, I feel like 1 month of
Practice.
what do you call that when you go to another
Boot
country?
camping.
Boot camping. If you boot camp for 1 month, it's good. If you have only 1 international experience, you probably need 2 months. Because in a month, a lot of changes in patch could happen. But if you're used to it, you can deal with it. But with 2 months, you will go through maybe 3 patches. At that point, you kind of already have that you're
Adaptability.
custom for that. But anyways, have you guys heard of the AI gaming coach?
Yes, I have. That's
Gaming
why.
coach.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because here's the thing, you guys might not know this, but Realme 15 Pro, it has that AI gaming coach. It provides smart prompts for objectives right on your screen. So you pick a hero, you can say, okay, what is going to be the skill order? You know, how do you actually execute a consecutive skills, allowing you to set your ultimate combo and unleash it with one tap, turning your strategy into instant impact.
Whoa.
You play, we carry. We can carry. We're kind of good of the game. But yeah, Realme 15 Pro, the M7 official gaming phone. That's the one that they've been using, and they've been looking pretty good.
Yeah, that's how a lot of the pro players actually bypass the fact that they need to boot camp more than a month. They use a month, and then they just use the Realme AI helper, coach, and then it's done.
I mean, because the AI would know exactly what they need to improve on.
Exactly.
You know, efficiency is the name of the game here.
Up to date, ask them about the patch.
Yeah, speaking of, you need more games. Speaking of more, MRO, MRO, Mobile Legends Rising Open, or MRO, Season 5 is back. Still
What's
open
up, bro?
to everyone. And flexible to join. Now with major upgrades, earn hero power from victories based on your weekly champion rank. And team up with friends or enemies. As long as you have 5 members to play with, you're good, because the rewards are stacked. Win or lose, earn MRO coins to redeem permanent skins, exclusive Avatar borders, and more. Climb the weekly championship to qualify for the championship. Win bigger prizes, and keep the M7 passion alive. How do you like that? Play with friends or enemies. It's okay.
And win or lose, you still get value?
Yeah, so just lose.
That's true.
Or win.
I don't like the fact that you can win or lose. You just need to win, okay?
I mean, all you do is win, so All you do is win, 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 no matter what.
Sometimes you actually suffer from success, you know?
I what? Sorry, I suffer from
Suffer from success. Not suck from suffer. Or whatever you were trying to say.
Suppress.
But hey,
You suffer from
you know what?
success.
You need a Red Bull.
Yeah, I need a Red Bull. So amazing game.